Ladies and gentlemen, what in the hell happened to Killer Frost? Well, we know she'll be back with the team as Season 4 premieres. We also know executive producer Andrew Kreisberg made it pretty clear Caitlin will have been away from the team for as long, or almost as long as Barry has been, that being 6 months. He also did indicate that she'll be coming back with a secret of her own when it comes to the time period she spent away from Star Labs. But more importantly, we know we haven't seen the last of Killer Frost based on what Danielle Panabaker stated during the Flash Comic-Con panel. Now, is there any chance anyone is actually thinking what I'm thinking here? Could Caitlin have been impregnated by Time Remnant Barry and has been away for those 6 months to have his baby? Alright, I'm just kidding. I wasn't thinking that. Well, not serious about it at least. But if that were to ever be the case, remember you heard it here first. But seriously though, poker face on and all now, what do you all think happened to Killer Frost? We do know at the very end of the 3rd season, Caitlin was in control, kind of in control, because she still seemed lost in a search for her very own identity. She did make it clear she wanted to go on this journey of self-discovery because she was no more Caitlin, nor was she Killer Frost. But that would of course beg the question of, how did she end up deciding she's going to be back to being Caitlin once again? And that thing around her neck in the promo, a collar-like necklace that probably suppresses her powers, why would she need that? Now, I have no clue what the actual answer to these questions is gonna be, but as usual I have a theory that I'll present you with over the course of the rest of this video. So what I'm thinking of here is really simple, and I think I've already briefly mentioned this option among others on a previous video, right after Season 3 came to an end. My core assumption here is that Caitlin went full-on Killer Frost. I know she already seemed to have done that on Season 3, but her motivations were more about accepting her alter ego and rejecting everyone who's been rejecting it or trying to get her to reject it so far. But she's yet to get into that other mood where she's being evil for the sake of being evil, ruining lives and actually measuring up to the killer part of her name, because so far she's just been Frost. Now, this kind of arc would lead right into the second assumption I'm making here, where Caitlin ended up being captured by Argus and in a Suicide Squad kind of situation. Now, if that were to be the case, we'd probably end up watching all of that in flashbacks. So Caitlin goes out on her own on her journey of self-discovery as indicated by the finale of the 3rd season, only she ends up being more bad than nice. She goes nuts, starts going all criminal, gets caught by Argus, and ends up being forced into becoming part of the Suicide Squad. In the current DC Rebirth reboot, that's exactly where Caitlin starts prior to ending up turning good and nice and joining up with the Justice League. As a matter of fact, this arc is the main reason she actually ends up being recruited by Batman into the League. In the 6th issue Justice League vs. Suicide Squad arc, which is part of said reboot, Maxwell Lord ends up becoming a host for Eclipso. Once Eclipso has control over him, he starts seeing into the darkest desires of both members of the Justice League and the Suicide Squad, taking control over them and turning them against one another. And at this point, the only two left with their sanity to save the day are Killer Frost and Batman, which if you read the entire arc is mostly done by her, while Batman basically acts as a distraction. But throughout this arc, she shows many signs of being good and wanting to make a difference. When Eclipso tries to tap into her darkest desires to avoid being taken down by her, he finds nothing but that kind of good and that kind of willingness to make the world better. In the simplest of words, what she's actually hiding there as Killer Frost is her need and her wish to become Caitlin Snow. Now, when Killer Frost is fully drained and feels like she has no more energy and she's about to die, she refuses to take Maxwell's life by draining the heat out of him, even when she's told to do so by Amanda Waller. And close to the very end of that arc, we see Batman trying to convince Waller to release Killer Frost into his custody and informing her she would probably end up being part of the Justice League. Waller disagrees to begin with, but ends up agreeing, and over the course of the Justice League of America Killer Frost Rebirth issue, Caitlin makes it out after having to face a few hurdles put her way by Waller, and ends up actually joining in with the League. Now, this kind of arc is quite a possibility here. Not the Eclipso part, but maybe the Suicide Squad part, along with lending a hand of help that would earn her some leeway. On the penultimate episode of the 3rd season of The Flash, we had a couple of solid Suicide Squad Easter eggs when Barry and Snart came across the cells of both Cheetah and Cupid. There's also Oliver's relationship with Lyla Michaels, which could kind of make them some version of Batman and Amanda Waller if the show were to do such an arc, thus bringing her back with Team Flash. Before I end this video though, I didn't want to spoil much of the Justice League vs Suicide Squad arc, but suffice to say, the ending of this comic book arc is very interesting and has a major and intriguing twist to it. So if you haven't read it yet, I totally advise you to. But do let me know in the comments what you thought of all of that I had to present here. Do you think Caitlin is back with the team as a product of some version of her recent Rebirth arc? And if not, let me know how you think she'll end up back with the team come the season 4 premiere. And remember to slap this video a much appreciated like if you ended up liking its content, and while you're at it, make sure you subscribe and enable notifications. But until I see you next time, thank you all for watching and have a great day.